again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Focus Vandalia. My name is Rich Hopkins. I'm the communications manager for the city. And a jam-packed episode for you this month. We're going to check in with our Division of Fire Chief, Chad Follick. He's got information on some life-saving technology that's now more readily available throughout the city of Vandalia. We're also going to check in with Castle Hill Swimming Pool, where season passes for this summer season are now on sale. But our first stop today is right off of Northwoods Boulevard, where, as you can see behind me, crews are very busy turning this empty field into an ultra-modern travel center.
Construction is definitely underway here at the future site of the Flying J Travel Center, where crews are working to get this convenience center open for business by the fall. Greg Shackelford says this center will have a little something for everyone.
Essentially, they're going to have what's going to be a travel center on this location. It'll have fuel, it'll have an area for trucks to have a break, it'll be a truck service center and a washing area, but the majority of the business that'll come through here is actually going to be traffic for vehicles. About 80% of their revenue is actually gas traffic for regular automobiles.
The center will employ as many as 75 people and include amenities that are geared for the truck driving public, but also plenty of extras for those whose longest drive of the day might just be across town.
Area where it's going to be a convenience store. They're going to have a Market Fresh with a salad bar. They're also going to have a restaurant that'll be in there, as well as I believe it's going to be a Cinnabon. And then outside of that main area, they're going to have, it's probably about a 10 or 20,000 square foot facility where trucks can get washed and serviced, and that'll be a kind of more of an 8 to 5 day thing, not a 24/7.
Other major projects still underway in Vandalia include the White Castle Food Processing Plant and Stone Quarry Crossings.
They actually have all the steel is up out there. If you haven't been by that location for a while, it's really, the building itself is taking shape. They are still targeting like a late November, early December opening, but if the weather just stays consistent now, I mean, we're going to have some rain, but I think the weather has finally broke from the snow. They should be in there in the fourth quarter at some point in time.
Construction is a little further along at All Service Plastic Molding in the Northwoods Business Park, where a large expansion project is nearing completion.
They're about 75% way through their 60,000 square foot expansion, and if you've been by, it's on the east side of the building. It's kind of hard to see from Falls Creek, but they're going gangbusters, and it's exciting for us. All said, they're going to have over 300 employees in that facility probably in the next 3 to 5 years.
The construction sites aren't the only place to find heavy machinery these days, as road and sewer projects are starting to build momentum. On Thrush Lane, a project is underway to add capacity to the sanitary sewer line by building an additional line.
It's to help out with the sewage issues we've had in the Co Avenue area neighborhood. They've had some sewer backups in the basements. We're ongoing effort to try to correct those problems. This is one thing, it will bypass some of the sewer and cut out several hundred feet of line and getting the sewer to a larger line quicker.
Public Works Manager Rob Cron says the line should go a long way towards alleviating a problem that residents have been putting up with for quite some time.
This is a huge step in our efforts. We're continuously inspecting the lines, running cameras through the lines, trying to find issues, problems where we might have infiltration of groundwater into the line causing us issues. So it's an ongoing thing, but this is going to be a major step.
The sewer line is just one aspect of several projects that will be starting soon. Cron says Phase 2 of the Buttercup Road reconstruction project begins this summer and will pick up where Phase 1 left off.
Another project we're going to have this year is going to be Phase 2 of our Buttercup Avenue project, where we come in and we've replaced the water line and storm sewer in that area, and as well as the street. Plans are being finalized right now. We'll be accepting bids for that next month, and you'll probably see that project going on this summer as well.
As we hit the summer months, Vandalia's annual road resurfacing project takes center stage, and Cron says the first phase of that is headed this way soon.
You'll see the concrete crews in town here probably within the next couple weeks. They're going to be coming through doing concrete repairs on our streets we're going to be resurfacing this year, and probably sometime in July then the pavers will be in town following them up after they get all the concrete work done, as well as we're installing probably another 50 handicap ramps this year with our program, so that's a great step towards improving the city.
One other quick note, with warmer weather on tap, more folks tend to use Vandalia's large item drop-off service at the Public Works Garage.
It's on the second Saturday of the month, and that runs March through October. The garage is open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 p.m. The things you can bring there is like construction rubble. If you're doing some construction at your house, tearing out some windows, doors, that kind of thing, you can bring that down there. Also bring down brush. What we don't want people to bring down there, you can't bring, is your appliances, old furniture like that.
So the big question, what do you do with those large items?
What you want to do is call Rumpke. If you call them at least 72 hours before your normal trash day, you can set that stuff out at the curb and they will pick it up free of charge.
The number to call Rumpke is 461-0004. And remember, make that call 72 hours before your scheduled trash pickup day, and they'll haul it away absolutely hassle-free. And now on to some great news coming from our Division of Fire. The division has completed a project that's making some advanced life-saving technology available to the masses. The project replaces Vandalia's supply of AED devices, which deliver necessary help to a heart attack victim in a matter of seconds.
AED is an automatic external defibrillator. The American Heart Association and the physicians have decided that electricity is the best thing for a heart when you're having a heart attack or your heart is in what they call fibrillation. Basically, electrical activity is fibrillating your heart into a rhythm that, when shocked, is the most survivable rhythm. And to do that, electricity is the best medication, if you will, for that type of situation.
Fire Chief Chad Follick says the new devices are better than the old ones and that they are far more user-friendly.
The difference between this one and our old system is that this unit will actually walk you completely through the system. So anyone that grabs an AED, whether you've been trained in CPR and AEDs or not, will have the opportunity to use this being prompted.
The new devices are designed to take some of the guesswork out of the CPR process.
Someone's down, not breathing, and they can't find a pulse. The crew, bystander can grab a unit, open the unit, take the cover off the unit. These will be stored in here in a plastic container. Take the cover off the unit, unfold and apply the pads. The one thing unique difference from our old ones to our new ones is the pads actually are designed to help you with CPR as well. So the pads have easy to understand instructions, tells you to tear. You can actually tear the bottom pad off, apply the pads to the chest, push your...
Unit, okay. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest.
And once you would do that,
Don't touch patient.
the unit will analyze itself.
Shock advised. Don't touch patient. Press flashing shock button.
Simple prompts. Once you have the pads on, push the button, everybody's clear.
Shock delivered. Start CPR.
Now, the nice thing about the machine again is that as you're doing compressions, if you look on this pad here, it gives you your landmark, so you don't have to constantly be finding your landmark. The unit will actually evaluate the level of compressions you're doing, CPR you're doing. It will tell you how to correct if you're not doing proper CPR. So if you would happen to be too low, too high, you're not getting deep enough on compression, or you're doing too fast or too slow, the unit will recognize that and will prompt you both visually across the screen and audibly that you need to push harder, you need to let off, you need to go faster, you need to go slower. And as you're doing that, if you're doing your 30 to 2 scenario and the unit detects a heart rhythm or rate, it'll say stop CPR, it'll analyze, and it'll tell you what to do next.
Follick says the AEDs have been a part of the city for years, and they've proven themselves to be effective.
We've had AEDs in the city for about 15 years, and we've had numerous success stories with them. And, we were talking last night, we believe we've had between a dozen and 15 saves using AEDs, not just in the city, but also with corporate partners that have used the same type of AED we do. And we have provided assistance with training with them. So we consider those to be our partners, and we consider those success stories because they would not have had AEDs if we had not helped them get an AED out into their company or store or wherever it's at.
The switchover to the new units was a large project, but one that city leaders felt was necessary.
The good thing is City Council recognizes the need for them, recognizes the importance of having them in every city building. Again, we have them in every police vehicle, every fire vehicle has an AED. So we did them all at one time, and we are doing, the purpose of the replacement was to get the best technology available. It's kind of our goal. Our mission in the organization is to provide the best value at the lowest possible cost. We have done a considerable amount of cost containment on these. The cost of maintenance and keeping them up, pads and batteries, will be less than half of what we were spending on the last go around of AEDs.
A safety project of a far different sort is taking place within Vandalia's Division of Police, where officers are currently undergoing biannual safety training. Lieutenant Dan Swafford says the training helps to make sure Vandalia officers are checked out on policies and on equipment in an emergency situation.
The morning session consisted of pursuit, policy. It was all policy review. And then in the afternoon, we went out and did a little more of the fun stuff that the officers like to do. And we started out with stop sticks. And it takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of skill to throw a stop stick. It's not just throwing those out there. There's a little more skill to it to make sure that you're not getting hit by somebody that's coming at you, or another pedestrian that's watching somebody else, watching the pursuit, and not watching somebody throw a stop stick. So there's a lot to it. So we threw stop sticks, and we ran through different scenarios, and that happened we did that for about an hour, hour and a half, and then we moved on to actual driving of the new cars. And the new Interceptors are a little different than the old Crown Vics. They're a little smaller, but the view area out of the car is a little different. So we do this training we do this training every 2 years. So it gave the guys that have not driven the new cars yet a chance to get out and see what they're all about.
The driver training is especially important as the Division of Police transitions from the old Ford Crown Victoria cruiser to the new Police Interceptor models.
Yeah, the back ends sit up a little bit higher, and the back windows are a little bit smaller. They do handle so much better. They're an all-wheel drive vehicle, so they do handle a lot better.
The driver training took place on the concrete pad at the Dayton Exposition Center, which is the site of the annual Dayton Air Show. Speaking of that show, City Manager Rob Anderson says there are changes in the pipeline for the 2013 edition of the popular event.
The air show's moved up a couple weeks this year. It's the 22nd, 23rd of June, which is a little earlier than it normally has been. I think the thought initially was to secure the Thunderbirds for the show this year. That was the date they were available. However, sequestration made that a moot point. However, they're still going to hold it that date. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better, and it'll still be a good show.
Anderson says even without the military, there will be plenty to do at the show.
Spectacular. We have some aerial acrobatic teams again, some wing walkers, we have the jet bus, some really good show things that have been successful in the past people tend to like.
One big change this year is the elimination of access to parking off of National Road. That means all traffic will flow through Northwoods Boulevard.
We've limited access on National Road this year for that parking that was what they call south of the airfield. So everything will be off of Northwoods Boulevard and Dixie Drive. So if you're coming to the air show this year, just plan a little bit extra time, be patient. Our police officers do a wonderful job directing traffic that whole weekend, so I'm sure it'll be as smooth as it always has been, just less options for parking.
Even with a large event like the air show taking place in Vandalia's own backyard, Anderson says folks not attending won't see too much impact.
It's not like it's gridlocked downtown Vandalia. Things are still open. You can still get around very easily. It's not going to be a problem with the air show traffic, and we're still open for business.
A final note on the air show is the parade, which takes place on Friday, June the 21st. Anderson says organizers definitely got it right with this year's Grand Marshal selection.
The Grand Marshal this year is a longtime Vandalia supporter, a wonderful businessman named Larry Taylor from Bowtowns and Ford. Larry is just a great individual and does a lot of support to the city, the schools, the township. So it's a wonderful choice for a Grand Marshal this year for the parade.
As we approach Memorial Day, another sure sign of summer is activity at Castle Hill Swimming Pool. The neighborhood pool will open for its 40th season this summer. Pool manager Brett Burns says operations like Castle Hill's are slowly becoming rarities.
Absolutely. There are not very many pools like this left. And as we're hoping to celebrate this year, the 40th anniversary of this pool being built and dedicated, the niche of the neighborhood pool is starting to slowly go away. So we have a lot of people who very much like this setup, like the nostalgia of having the pool set up this way. And you know, we can't ask for more as far as how we've been able to maintain it and keep it as best we can for our patrons.
As the pool opens this year, patrons are reminded that the concession stand operation will be dramatically changed, but the new rules will allow folks to bring in food and drinks from home.
This year, by guidance from council, we are going to be doing some vending options, as well as for the first time, will be allowing our patrons to bring in their own food, so they can feel free to bring in their picnic lunches and non-alcoholic and non-glass drinks.
If you want to be a part of this year's Castle Hill Swimming Pool, season passes are on sale now.
Season passes are available. They were available on April 15th. You can go to the Vandalia Rec Center to apply for one, and they will take care of you at the front desk, get your picture taken, get you your card so you can be here on opening day.
Our last stop today is at the Vandalia Sports Complex, where workers recently installed a state-of-the-art lightning prediction system.
The main purpose behind installing systems for public safety, we have a lot of youth sport activities here at the sports complex as well as Helke Park, and then we just have a lot of just general park usage, from use of the shelters to family picnics, joggers, you name it, and we're looking out for their safety.
Parks and Recreation Director Steve Clark says this system doesn't detect lightning, but rather predicts when it's likely to strike, giving folks more time to seek shelter.
It's a computer system that tracks the electrostatic atmospheric conditions, and when it gets to a certain level where they feel that lightning is a possibility, the system will go off, which the system amounts to a loud horn, sounds like a train horn, and it'll be a 15-second blast to notify park patrons to take shelter. And then there's strobes at each site that will go off the whole time that there is a possibility of lightning.
The setup consists of a main detection unit and 2 remote locations to make sure everyone hears that warning in time.
The main system is here in the center of the complex on the concession stand building, and then we have a remote unit at the southern end of the park near the entrance down between Ball Diamonds 1 and 2, and then we have another remote unit which is about a half-mile away at Helke Park, and they both work off of the main unit.
Clark says one thing folks will need to get used to is the fact that the system might alert before a fast-moving storm hits or after it's passed through, meaning that folks will be seeking shelter with no bad weather in sight.
The installers told us that in Florida, 5 of the last 7 lightning deaths have been as a result of a backstrike when the storm is 10 to 20 miles past. And that's one of the concerns that we have is the system could very well go off when you have somewhat blue skies or it doesn't look like a threat of a storm. So we're asking people to be patient because the system is very accurate and it is reading the atmospheric conditions, which are telling us that there's a good chance of lightning.
So even on a bright sunny day like today, the system is up and it's operating. And that's important because with a 5-mile radius, this system can predict lightning a good 8 to 15 minutes before it could strike here. That's going to do it for this edition of Focus Vandalia. I'm Rich Hopkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.